Hello and welcome to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman-Ernest, and joining me today is Mrs. Pam Landers. Pam, thank you so much for being here. We're going to focus on the Miss Sylacauga pageant a little bit later on, but first of all, just some background info. I don't know that you've been on the Library Connection or recently. How long have you lived in Sylacauga? Are you originally from Sylacauga?
No, I am not originally from Sylacauga. My family came from Talladega. And in 1972, I believe that's the year we moved to Sylacauga. My daddy worked at the paper mill at Kimberly-Clark.
Yes.
And we relocated from Talladega to Sylacauga, and I started Sylacauga High School in the 9th grade.
Oh.
So since the 9th grade, it's been my hometown, and so it feels like forever.
Right. Well, and that's been, so we would still say close to a
Sylacauga
native.
That is forever. So.
Well, and you're a Talladega County native,
right,
so
right.
Definitely a native of this area. And so your husband, tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, my husband is Mike Landers. He is right now the president of the chamber and working hard at that, and he's also a lobbyist and trying to do a lot of good things through that. I have 3 children. I have 2 daughters, April Sargent, Jody Epperson, and a son, 20 years old, Chase Landers. And I have also 2 grandbabies, Kylie and TJ, so very proud of them.
That doesn't keep you busy at all, no?
Oh, not at all. Not
Keeps
at all.
you young, right? Well, I know that people see you out and about in the community, and your husband Mike is very involved in the community, but probably one thing that maybe if you're a patron of the library or come to the Brown Bag series, that they've seen you up on stage performing with your family's musical group. Tell me a little bit about the group.
Okay, our family has a family bluegrass band called Johnson Grass, and
Is that your maiden name?
That's my maiden name, Pam Johnson. That's what I was in high school. So, my daddy is Doyle Johnson, so he's the patriarch of the band, and he kind of, we've been in a musical family my whole life. I grew up as long as I can remember him playing the guitar or being around other musicians and people like that, and we would play and sing. And so he wanted to start the bluegrass band. I'm trying to think about how many years ago. I wasn't an original member of the band. I've always been a member of singing, but not an original member of the band. But I would say about 25 or 30 years ago.
Wow. And
had some other members, but it consists of my father, Doyle Johnson, who sings and plays the guitar. My daughter, April Sargent, she sings and plays guitar. My nephew, Drew Biven, plays the mandolin and guitar. And we have a championship fiddle player named Johnny Watts, and he's from Clay County, and he has won several state fiddle championships, and we usually wind up getting a good banjo or dobro player. Recently we've had Wesley Allen play with us, and he's very good. He sings, he plays the guitar, and he plays the organ or piano, and he also plays the dobro. So it's just, and sometimes my little grandson TJ, he has his own little fiddle, and he gets up there and he likes to
He likes to join in too.
He joins in too. So.
That sounds, we don't have a professional group, but a lot like my family. Growing up, my grandmother had a gospel group, in the big school bus traveling around, and it's just what you grow up knowing. And so it's a wonderful way to introduce, new members, your young family members to music, and just the love of that. And I saw you, I guess it was last year, performing at the library, and your father is a hoot. How old is he, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind asking. Daddy just turned 80, and he is a hoot. And I didn't mention what I play, I don't think.
No, you didn't.
In which a lot of people, it's hard to believe, but I play the upright bass. And I kind of inherited that because in the original band, there was a musician named Roscoe Borntrager, and he was just awesome. And he had played with a lot of famous bands, and a lot of people around here know him. And he came down from Amish country, and the Yoders here know that family very well. But he passed away, and I used to sing with Roscoe, and I didn't play an instrument then. And when Roscoe passed away, Roscoe was the bass player, and Daddy bought up a bass and said, "You've got to learn how to play this." So I did.
Well, and you did.
He told me to, so I did.
It's so fun. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I mean, the upright bass is enormous.
It's big.
It towers over you, because I almost wonder, how do you transport that? Does it fit in the car or in a trunk?
You have to have a big car or an SUV or a truck. It's hard.
Right.
But
yeah,
we do it. We do it.
Well.
And we just loved playing at the Brown Bag Series at the library.
Well, it is so entertaining, and that's for anybody who hasn't seen it, that just the jokes that your dad tells, you know, it reminds me of like Hee Haw back in the days, you know, it just keeps you rolling.
He thinks he is country boy Eddie. He tells the most corniest jokes you've ever seen, but he is so proud of himself, and we're proud of him too. We love him.
And I know he's had some health issues, but hopefully on the mend.
He's on the mend. We've done the Library Connection, the
Brown Bag Series.
the Brown Bag Series, yes, 2 different times, and both times it was just a great turnout.
Yes.
One time we had Hank Fannin, the judge from Talladega, play with us, and that was fun. And Ms. Shirley has promised me that we're going to be playing again probably in the spring sometime. So if we do, y'all please come out for that.
We will definitely let everybody know about that, because it is just something that you do not want to miss. And for some of you who may be not, you know, familiar with bluegrass, how would you describe bluegrass music?
Well, bluegrass music really is, it comes from Appalachian, I think, and probably originally located here, like when the Irish and Scottish, a lot of them, because you know they still play the fiddle and do those sort of what we call clogging and stuff. They do the river dance type music over there, but I think it all originated over here when they came over here into the United States, and a lot of them stayed over in the Carolinas and Kentucky and in the mountains and coal mining towns, and it's just a real deep-hearted, soulful music that talks, about all aspects of life.
Right. I feel like everybody can identify
you can,
with that kind of music.
And one of the things that we really love about it is the gospel music.
Right.
Sometimes we do just a purely gospel show. We might do a show at a church, or if somebody wants us to do just purely gospel, we do that. And then when we do a show like the Brown Bag Series or others, we mix it up.
Right. Just
really
a good variety. And so I know that you've performed other places than the library. Where else, have you performed in the past 25 years?
Yeah. Well, let me see. We have performed, there's a place we've been to several times called Pine Mountain, and we have performed at a place called the Outpost in Georgia. And one of our favorite places, we really felt like we had hit the big time. We played at the Ritz in Talladega.
Oh, wow.
And up on that marquee up there where I used to go see the movie for about 30 cents when I was a little girl, it had said Johnson Grass. So we really felt like we hit the big time that time.
Oh, wow.
And we've played a lot of churches and family reunions and festivals and things like that. But as I said earlier, one of my favorite is doing the Brown Bag Series.
Well, we will be looking forward to that. And we're just so proud to have such wonderful local talent here. It really is.
Appreciate it.
And one of the main reasons we were here, of course, is to talk about some of your community activities. What else are you involved in besides the grandkids and the kids and your bluegrass group?
Well, one of the major things I'm involved in is I'm on the Parks and Rec board. I got on the Parks and Rec board, I'm trying to remember how many years ago. This is my second term. And when I came on, I realized there was an immediate need for help with the Miss Sylacauga pageant.
Yes.
So I've been really busy doing that. I am also in the Community Garden Club, which I really love that. I love flowers, and I love my ladies in my garden club. And we have a project where we, right now our project is the museum, and we do the flowers in the spring and the fall there, and we decorate a Christmas tree for the library. So that's just a service that we do for that. And I don't know if I should do this now, but
go ahead.
I have to push my cookbook now. We decided to do a cookbook, and it's called Favorite Recipes of the Camellia Garden Club. Mm-hmm. And we had it dedicated to our oldest still active member in the club, who is Miss Mary Ann Ham. Mm-hmm. And there's a picture of her, and she was just thrilled to death. I don't know if you know Miss Mary Ham, but she is the mother of John Ham and Bob Ham here in town. and her family used to own Mac and Ted Drugs.
Right. Oh yeah.
But there are some wonderful recipes in here, and they're just all local recipes, and some of them it'll say handed down by so and so, or I borrowed this from so and so, and they're just great recipes. And you can buy these at the library and at Yoder's, and Cardin's. They're $10.
Okay.
And all of the proceeds goes back into our community project.
Club.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm a member of the Magnolia Garden Club, and so I just think it's so neat, a small town, southern small town, to still have those groups, and with a recipe book, nowadays with the internet, people go on and find these, but just to have something that's been passed down from generation to generation, local people that I think that's wonderful. So if you are interested, you can check that out at the library and purchase one of those.
Yes, and it is rich. Our garden club is rich in history. Miss Ham, she just turned, I can't remember if it's 90 or 91, y'all forgive me, but she's just precious. She comes to every meeting that she can, and she just actively
wonderful.
in there. So.
That's wonderful. Well, back to the Miss Sylacauga program. So I guess your title now is officially co-director.
It is. That's what I received that title, I think, about 3 years ago. It used to be Sharon Tankersley Wright, but Sharon's daughter is now become of age to compete, and she competes in the Miss Teen, the Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen category. Right. So she gave that up then, and I took it on, and it is a lot of responsibility. Sharon, I didn't realize how much you had to do.
And so you share that with Jim Armstrong.
Jim Armstrong,
okay.
Yes, and then we have a committee, and I just do a lot of things and it's all voluntary. I don't get paid for being on the board. I don't get paid for doing this. I do it just because I want to, and because I feel there's a need for it.
Well, and we're so appreciative, because you have to keep things vivacious, in a community and things going on. You have to have those people that are willing to volunteer their time and their efforts to continue these things, these traditions. And I know that the Miss Sylacauga program is the longest running preliminary to Miss Alabama in the state. Do you know what year will this be for
this? This will be the 78th year.
Wow.
And I am so proud when we go to the Miss Alabama organization in Birmingham, and the week of the pageant we have what they call an Academy Awards banquet, which it's just a small banquet, but we get nominated for different awards, each pageant does. And I'm always so proud to begin with first that we are the oldest pageant in the state.
Definitely.
And that means a lot, that it has sustained all these years. And but we've won various awards, such as Best Program Book. This was Best Program Book last year.
Right.
This
is like a novel. In and of itself, so nice.
And we do a program book, practically like no one else. We've gotten most scholarships, most gifts awarded, best set design. And Jim would really love to get that this year. If anybody's watching out there in the Miss Alabama organization, he really would like to get that this year. But it's just so many things we've won for, and that just verifies that we're working as hard as we can and doing a good job and trying to do a good job for the girls.
Well, and it's a testament, yes, like you said, to the hard work that you and Jim and the Park and Rec Board and the committee have put into it, and something that we can, as a whole, city and town, be so proud of. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be joined once again by Pam Landers, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Miss Sylacauga pageant.
Wright Tire and Service on West Fort Williams in Sylacauga is the right place for you. We carry the right tires for your car: Goodyear, Cooper, General, Michelin, and lots more. Wright Tire and Service is also your right choice when it comes to all of your automotive service needs. Whether it's an oil change, front end alignment, brake service, or air conditioner work, make the right choice the first time and stop by Wright Tire and Service, Sylacauga.
In Central Alabama, 9,100 kids face going to bed hungry tonight. Hunger doesn't take a day off. There are kids right here, right now, that don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Alabama Childhood Food Solutions and help put an end to childhood hunger in Central Alabama. Make a difference. Donate today, by mail or online, to help ACFS feed hungry kids. There's no better time to share than now. Their next meal could come from you.
There's one pharmacy that's so much more than just a drugstore. That's Marble City Pharmacy in Sylacauga. From cards for all occasions, a huge selection of gifts, even great exclusive Alabama and Auburn stuff, all kinds of household needs, and a complete selection of over-the-counter meds and supplies that you would expect. We are more than just a drugstore, but with our friendly, courteous staff and all of our great extras, we ought to be your drugstore. We're Marble City Pharmacy in Ogletree Plaza.
Any meal, anytime, it's a Huddle House on Highway 280. From the popular Huddle House signature waffle to our big house breakfast, including gravy and biscuit and loaded hash browns, it's a Huddle House. Try our Philly cheese steak omelet. It's a sure hit, too. Our big house sandwich combos include Huddle burger and country fried steak. And for lunch or dinner, it's the often requested chopped steak with mushroom gravy. Starting to get hungry? Head to the Huddle House. Our friendly and experienced team await you. Huddle House, Highway 280, any meal, anytime.
Hello and welcome back to the Library Connection. I'm Summer Newman Ernest, and joining me today is Mrs. Pam Landers. We've been talking about her musical background, her family bluegrass band, which performs regularly at the B.B. Comer Memorial Library, and now we're focusing on one of the busiest times of the year for you right now as co-director of the Miss Sylacauga and Miss Marble Valley scholarship programs. You said you were on the Park and Rec board, and that's sort of how you fell into this position, and that this year in February is going to be the 78th Miss Sylacauga being crowned, and it's the longest running preliminary in the state of Alabama that leads on to Miss Alabama, so we're so proud of it. Tell us a little bit about the different categories, because I know that it's not just a Miss Sylacauga, the different age categories that they have.
Okay, yes, we have the Miss Sylacauga's Outstanding Teen, and I believe that is 13 up through 10th grade. We also have a Miss Ingenue, and that was 11th grade. And then Miss Sylacauga is 12th grade through the age 24. They have to be, they could possibly age out after that, you know,
Right.
because they have to go to Miss, if they win, they go to Miss America. And then Miss Marble Valley is the same. It is high school up to 24 years old.
And I know the Young Outstanding Teen is relatively new. When I was that age, it was called Miss Subdeb. But these ladies actually, starting at age 13, have the possibility, if they win in Sylacauga, then they can go on to Alabama's Outstanding
Yes.
Teen, and there's even a national program.
And the Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen will be here in Sylacauga in March. I'm not for sure of the date, but it's here in March, usually about the second week in March, I think.
Right, which is wonderful that we get to host
we
it,
do.
because that
We
brings
get
in
those
a lot of
beautiful,
people.
talented girls from just all over the state, and usually get Miss Alabama here and
Right.
Miss Teen Alabama, and just a lot of people come into town for this. Stay in hotels. They have to stay here several days.
Right.
So it's a great thing, a great boost for our community when they come.
Right, and I know the library is always glad to host those ladies when they
do.
have orientation or meetings, and it's another way for us to show off our beautiful library. Now I know that when you see some of these pageants, maybe you think on TV that it's just about, you know, beauty, but there's a lot that's involved for these young ladies that are actually participating in the program. Tell us some of the areas of competition that they actually compete in.
Yes, that's one thing that really just gets me, is when people say, oh, it's just a beauty pageant. No, It's far, far from a beauty pageant. It is a scholarship pageant. These girls enter these pageants to get scholarships to go to school and to further their education. And they have to compete in different areas. They don't just walk out in the evening gown and sing on stage. They do talent. And they do walk on stage in the evening gown competition, and they also have to do swimsuit competition, because if they got Miss Sylacauga and Miss Alabama, they would go on to Miss America.
Right.
So that is very important. But the main thing is they have to be intelligent, well-rounded young ladies, and they have to be interviewed by a panel of judges that is we plan hard to get our group of judges and try to get all aspects of life of these judges who are, you know, some may be centered in music, some may be entered in college or economics, something like that. And these girls, any question that they ask them, they have to be ready for interview as if they were interviewing for the job of their life, or for being accepted into a certain course into college.
Right.
And it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Well, I can say, because I participated in the program starting in 7th grade, all the way through until Miss Sylacauga in 1997, which has been almost 20 years ago, but just those interview skills that you learn, there's no other opportunity for young ladies to develop those interview skills. And I found that once I had gone through that, and had those interviews, if it were every year, that by the time I reached college, you don't realize, but just to be in any kind of even extracurricular program, like a student, government or something, you have to be interviewed. So not only for jobs, but that you already have these skills, and it puts you head and shoulders above the rest. And like Pam said, that it's not just fluff kind of questions, what's your favorite song or favorite color, but these ladies have to be very well rounded. They have to be very informed with current events. They can be asked anything, politics, anything that's going on. And so I think it's a great way that, especially nowadays, kids might be a little disconnected and just worried about their own social media and world, but they have to be abreast of all of the news, and it's just a great opportunity. And then, of course, performing on stage develops wonderful skills too, and self-confidence, and it's just exciting to see, as these young girls, even at the age of 13, as they go on and, up to age 24, can still participate.
It just amazes me. Some of these 13-year-olds and they're look like 16 and 17, some of them do, and they already have the confidence of high schoolers, because they have been brought up in this, and it just creates such a confidence boost. And we both have a friend who is a former Miss Sylacauga, and I'm not going to say her name, but she had told me once that she got her dream job because of the fact that she was in the Miss Sylacauga pageant, and she was educated through the Miss Sylacauga pageant. And she said that she went and interviewed for it with a physician, and she's in Birmingham right now, working as a nurse practitioner, I think, for an oncologist, or maybe a gastrologist. And she said that she interviewed, and he told her that she had the job, and she said, well, what made you, pick me? And he said, you wouldn't believe how many people I've interviewed. And he said, you just stood out above everyone else.
Wow.
And she said that if it wasn't for that pageant experience and the interview experience, she would not have had the confidence to do that. So,
and I think that's something that's so important for parents and people, that have daughters, to understand, is that this is an empowering thing. It is not something, like you said, like a beauty pageant, but it builds this self-confidence and self-esteem, which is sometimes lacking, you see, in this generation among our young ladies. And so I'm proud to be a part of it. I know you are as well. And so something that's new the past 2 years is that it's no longer just Miss Sylacauga, but it's also Miss Marble Valley. And so how is that different than the Miss Sylacauga division?
Okay, I had to learn when I came on to this, but Miss Sylacauga has always been a closed pageant, and it's always been closed to girls in our Sylacauga area. So the girls in our Sylacauga area, what funds we collect, what scholarships we collect, that normally in the past all went to them. Well, it still does, but 3 years ago, the Miss Alabama organization asked us would we also do a second pageant, an open pageant, because there was a need for it, and that makes it available for girls all over the state of Alabama to be in the pageant. And we appropriately named it Miss Marble Valley because we are the Marble Valley and the Marble City. So, and it has done so well. We have crowned two. In the past 2 years. This is our third year, and our first year was Megan Smith, and she is a Crimsonette at the University of Alabama, and she was in the top 10 at the Miss Alabama pageant. And last year we had Brianna Kinsey, and she was second runner-up. And she's also at the University of Alabama in pre-med. So, they're just intelligent, beautiful, talented young ladies, but They
Well,
just, they
and
have represented us so well, and our local girls always do too.
Right, and this year's winner was Victoria Bailey,
Victoria
right?
Bailey.
And so she's at Troy now.
She's
I know,
at
and
Troy.
actually, so I see her. I don't know if her career aspirations are TV, but I know that she does a TV program there at Troy. And anybody that knows her parents, if you went through Sylacauga City Schools, her father, Mr. Bailey, and mother, Miss Bailey, that they teach at the high school and the middle school, and so we're proud to have her representing Sylacauga this year. I know one thing that's really great about the Miss Marble Valley, of course we love the name because it does bring, you know, that attention to our marble, which we're trying to so hard, especially through the Sylacauga Arts Council and the Marble Festival, but that it brings these people, these parents, these grandparents, these friends and families into our city just for the purpose of coming to this pageant.
It brings families from all over the state.
Right.
It goes from Mobile all the way up to Muscle Shoals, or Fort Payne, Huntsville,
Right.
West Alabama. Just all over. Megan Smith was from Hartsville, and but Brianna was from Birmingham. But when they compete, it's just like with the Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen. When they have that here, it just brings girls from everywhere.
Right. And it's people that might not stop in Sylacauga otherwise. And I know that we've gotten such wonderful reviews from the parents who are just amazed by what a wonderful city we have here. I remember one mom saying she had spent the day at the library using the Wi-Fi. And so people that might otherwise never step foot in our library or see our beautiful marble sculptures are being introduced to this and hopefully telling other people and spreading the word. So what a wonderful way to help to promote our city.
It is just wonderful, and you just wouldn't believe how you make friendships with the girls, and they become a sisterhood. And
Right.
when they're here, they become a sisterhood, a small sisterhood. But if
Right.
they went and go to Miss Alabama, it's even a larger
Right.
sisterhood. But we just they just love it so much.
And Miss Alabama is usually held in, is it June?
It's June. I think it's the
Okay.
first week in June. Usually that whole first week in June.
So we will have two, Miss Sylacauga and a Miss Marble Valley there.
Miss Marble Valley and Miss Sylacauga both for the past. This will be the third year.
Right.
So, and it's really exciting to pull for both at the
Right.
same time, because
Right.
you've got twice the chances of having a
Sure.
winner. But you want to pull fairly for both girls,
Sure.
and hoping both girls will get some scholarship money. But the experience, I just can't explain to you what a wonderful experience it is for them, and how they come out of it wanting to do it again, or
Of
or
course,
always
of
been a
course.
group of that sisterhood that was that year.
Right. And we haven't mentioned, but this year's Miss Sylacauga and Miss Marble Valley is going to be held February 21st, just a few weeks away, on a Saturday night at Sylacauga High School Auditorium. You can buy tickets at the door, and it'll begin at 7 p.m. So, what a wonderful way for you to even be introduced if you haven't been or haven't been in many years, just to see the talent up on stage. It's entertaining, and it's wonderful to know that it's a community effort, because I know that all of this could not be done without community support. The Maxie Veazey, anybody who's from this area knew Maxie Veazey and the wonderful things that she did for Sylacauga and for the Miss Sylacauga pageant. So I know that that's one important scholarship that people can donate to, and that goes directly to the ladies. But tell us a little bit about the scholarships that are going to be offered this year, and some of your community sponsors and the importance of that.
Okay. Yes, it's so important, the community sponsorship and donors. But the Maxie Veazey Scholarship Fund has been in effect for years and years and years. And if you remember Maxie Veazey, she was always at the rec center, the old rec center, and she was the director of the pageant way back when,
Right.
when a lot of this was originally started. So she wanted it to be her goal that each girl have scholarship money to go to college. So we are different than any other pageant in this aspect with this fund, with the Maxie Veazey Fund, that we send out letters and we request through venues like this and radio and whatever, and word of mouth. But anyone who gives to the Maxie Veazey Fund, if you have 5 girls in Miss Sylacauga category or 10, that amount of money is going to be divided equally between the girls. So they will each get the same amount. So I think last year each girl in the Miss Sylacauga category got over almost $750 a piece.
Which is unheard of. And so just to participate, you get this. And so we just appreciate the community for contributing if you wish to. And it could be food or gift items. It doesn't have to be monetary contributions. You can see Pam or Jim at the Park and Rec department. It's not too late to do that ever. And I know that that's one of the main reasons that these ladies do participate, that it helps to further their education, which is so important. And so we want to just thank you, Pam, for being here today, for all your hard work. And